You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. Don't talk to me like that. Get therapy. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. This next piece of reportage provides us with a useful opportunity to see an aspect of the relationship which takes place between the narcissist and the victim, here the intimate partner primary source. As I've explained in other work, the dynamic is one whereby the victim is seduced, starting off as a tertiary source, possibly a secondary source if the person's already known to the narcissist to some degree, and then it becomes intimate. The individual becomes the candidate intimate partner secondary source as they're put on the fast track towards becoming the intimate partner primary source. This is when the love bombing that is associated with many narcissists takes place. Then the victim becomes the intimate partner primary source, is embedded, then suffers a sustained devaluation, and then either escapes, is disengaged from, or neither of those things happen and the roller coaster relationship continues of sustained devaluation, respite period, sustained devaluation, respite period, rinse and repeat. Harry was ensnared by Harry's wife. She used his vulnerabilities against him, mirrored his likes, mirrored his dislikes, triangulated him with his dead mother, and of course threw lots of spicy poontang at him. He's susceptible. She appeared as bold, confident, caring. He has his vulnerabilities, not as confident as you'd imagine. Issues with his own self-worth, which the apparent confidence that she exudes attracts somebody such as him, draws him in, and of course all catered for by his addiction to the narcissist. Page 6 in an article by Riley Cardoza explains that Prince Harry got into a lot of trouble with Harry's wife early on in their relationship due to differences in American and British vernacular. Now, it's interesting that he refers to it as getting into a lot of trouble. So a misunderstanding based upon a shared language but different cultures results in him getting into a lot of trouble. There's a red flag right there. Ordinarily, you wouldn't get into a lot of trouble just because, for instance, you call it a pavement and somebody calls it a sidewalk, or that you have a misunderstanding as to what you're referring to. That wouldn't mean you'd get into a lot of trouble, but it is indicative of the supine nature of Harry to his wife that he references at him getting into a lot of trouble. The Duke of Sussex shared the anecdote while talking to the Colbert questionnaire on Tuesday's episode of The Late Show, during which he answered a speed round of 15 questions, including his favourite sandwich. When Harry, 38, confused Stephen Colbert with the words toasty and toasting machine, meaning grilled sandwich and panini press, respectively, the Royal noted that he has to be so careful about his verbiage. Again, having to be so careful. Now, he might have meant it tongue-in-cheek, but the fact is that it's a consequence of what will be revealed presently that causes this mentality, which essentially is the treading on eggshells, that he got into trouble, that he had to be so careful. Why did his wife not have to be so careful? Because her Americanisms couldn't be understood as him as somebody that was British. The Americanisms to the Britishisms are very different, he explained, got me and my wife into a lot of trouble at the beginning of our relationship. Harry and the late-night TV host 58 subsequently began spitballing language discrepancies from horse riding and horseback riding to pavement and sidewalk during the segment, which was taped when the Wah author appeared on The Late Show in January. Harry has previously revealed how cultural differences and a language barrier played a role in a past argument with Harry's wife. Harry's wife said something I took the wrong way, he recalled in his Bombshell memoir. The former military pilot felt overly sensitive at the time and snapped at the 41-year-old, speaking to her harshly and cruelly. No doubt that he was told that he snapped at her, that he spoke to her harshly and cruelly. I suspect that he just responded, and of course she labelled his response in those terms as part of the nullification of threat to control posed by his response. He wrote, "As the words left my mouth, I could feel everything in the room come to a stop. Harry's wife, who who was calm and quiet in her response, naturally, because she is just an absolute saint, isn't she, told her husband that she would never stand for being spoken to like that, leading Harry to seek therapy. How fucking ridiculous. A misunderstanding results in him having to seek therapy. Or, much rather, her control of him is such that, "Harry, you spoke to me in a nasty way. You need therapy." Want an understanding of how a narcissist might manipulate an individual in that regard? Watch my video, Crazed. It's quite clear to me that the narcissist Harry's wife made a mountain out of the molehill because Harry challenged her, and thus because that was a threat to control, she used language along the lines of explaining that he was speaking to her harshly, cruelly, that he was being overly sensitive with regard to what was said. And of course, not understanding what he's dealing with, being driven by his own emotional thinking, he accepts that he's in the wrong. So many empathic victims respond to the way that we manipulate them in this regard. Furthermore, her mindset is such that he's the one that's in trouble, he's the one that's out of order, and therefore it's so bad that he has to seek therapy. A simple misunderstanding based upon language results in him having to seek therapy. Absolute horseshit. The article continues with Harry stating, "My anger came from somewhere deep inside, somewhere that needed to be excavated, and it was obvious that I could use some help with the job," he explained. Or rather, that's what his controller and handler told him. The prince, who has been married to Harry's wife since May 2018, referenced the suit's alum later in Tuesday's questionnaire, saying her scent is his favourite smell. Yes, more boring. But this is very useful, because it shows the extent to which Harry has no recognition of what he's dealing with. It shows the extent to which she blame shifts and projects her behaviour upon him. It is demonstrative of the way that she causes him to believe that he is the problem, the way that she controls him, the way that she tells him that he shouldn't behave, and in effect saying, "You don't talk to me like that, you've got a problem." Whereas probably, when viewed objectively, there wasn't any issue whatsoever. But of course, viewed from her perspective, it is that usual threat to control, resulting in her labelling him as the problem. Below the line, Amanda P. observes, "If you didn't see the South Park episode mocking them, you should. It is spot on. Udem, did someone write a script for them when they got engaged? Their saga is like really bad daytime television. For two people who wanted out of the public eye and royal responsibilities, they sure managed to make their presence known." The Raven, what happened to that happy-go-lucky guy? When's the last time you saw him smile in a picture? Nathwashaw, Harry, for the love of God, will you please just shut up? Stop spreading your truth everywhere. We are knee-deep in it already. Frankly, my dear, their recollections change like farts in the wind. Susie Q, therapy after a misunderstanding with differences in cultural words. Ridiculous. IMA Anonymous. Oh, go away. Again, people finding the behaviours ridiculous, but a very useful opportunity to see the manner by which she controls him, causing him to believe that a simple misunderstanding about words is something that means that he has performed and behaved badly, and that he has to go to therapy for it. That shows you the extent of the hold she has over him. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.